Using CGM data for glucose management in masters athletes. Reconciling performance with longevity. We're going to present a comprehensive approach to understanding how glucose management differs for athletes over 40, balancing performance needs with long-term health considerations. This is the data from one of my coaching clients. He's most likely an elite masters athlete, having competed in 15 Ironmans. And this is his macros. You can see he's on calorie deficit now here, and he's getting a sufficient amount of saturated fat and fiber. And there's his protein data. And he's using a CGM monitor, which he's used for over 8 years. And when we reviewed his data, we could see that having some walking exercise, more walking, and a couple of meals. And with these meals, he's not really showing much of a spike as he goes through this. He's walking after his meals, which reduces the spike. And then we have a holiday here where he had a meal and had a pretty significant spike, and then a few more spikes, and then another spike in the evening. And the question was, how is he performing these meal placements and managing his blood glucose? And the Masters athlete has a unique metabolic system. One of the things we have to pay attention to is age-related changes in our muscle mass. Sarcopenia, muscle loss, we have decreased VO2 max, reduced mitochondrial count are inevitable even in highly trained athletes. And the athlete's paradox is Masters athletes maintain high insulin sensitivity despite age-related changes, creating a metabolic shield against typical aging. And one of these things, we call this the metabolic machine, which we've done for these decades of endurance training. And shifting nutritional needs. Higher protein requirements, actually up to 2 grams per kilogram, altered carbohydrate metabolism, and a reduced thirst perception require specialized approaches. So beyond the 70-140 fallacy, the belief that blood glucose must stay within this tight range at all times is a misconception based on sedentary standards. Elite athletes regularly experience glucose excursions above 140 during training competition. This is a normal physiology and it's not pathological. It's a temporary rise in glucose during exercise or there are signs of healthy metabolic system regarding energy demands. So we have to think about a strategic glucose spike versus a chronic glucose spike. And the reality of it is a strategic spike is purposeful. Post-exercise glucose elevation that leverages insulin for recovery and muscle repairs. These chronic excursions are frequent unregulated glucose swings throughout the body that contributes to long-term health risks. And the goal is to harness the benefits of this metabolic machine by using these strategic spikes while minimizing harmful glycemic variability. The true metric of concern is not a single spike, but overall glycemic variability, the pattern of large frequent swings throughout the day. So it's really, you have to put this stuff in perspective of the athlete, and that's what we're going to do here. So the benefits of strategic high glycemic meals. You have rapid glycogen resynthesis. High glycemic meals increase muscle glycogen by 15% in 3 hours post, while low glycemic meals show no change. You have enhanced protein uptake. Insulin release from glucose spikes drives amino acids into the muscles, catalyzing repair and growth. This is anabolism. This is the insulin that's used for anabolic growth. So it helps repair and growth. It's crucial for combating age-related anabolic resistance. This is a term that might be new to people, but as you grow older, you have inability really to make anabolic changes or grow your muscle. So muscle preservation is the key because long-term fasting or low glycemic indexes throughout the day can give us a problem. But having the spike prevents gluconeogenesis, the breaking down of muscle for energy, and that preserves our hard-earned muscle mass. Now, the metabolic machine of an athlete is different than an untrained or a person with a metabolic syndrome because they're going to have unmanaged glucose. Just there's no way to suck up that glucose in the system. And that gives you oxidative stress and vascular damage, advanced glycation products, which promote aging, and these cognitive and systemic impacts. So we understand that poor glycemic controls link to cognitive decline, accelerated muscle loss, and higher rates of everything. So a general thing is a buddy system for our macros. Carbohydrates should be rarely consumed in isolation. Pairing them with proteins and fats, fiber slows glucose release and reduces the glycemic spikes. But since we're aiming for a strategic glycemic spike, we need to maybe push the glycemic index a little higher with our first meal. The rest of the time, you can use the plate method, a little bit of starchy vegetables, protein, and carbs. And so the precision timing for performance, basically your workout, how hard you're going to go, how long you're going to go, what your fueling needs. So, timing the fueling to match your output. Most of my clients are doing their first exercise fasting, so this won't be included. But if you're doing 30, 60 minutes high intensity session, probably a good idea to eat before. If you're going greater than an hour, yeah, you might need a little bit of gel or something like that. But most people, if they have fat oxidation properly programmed into their system from years of running, maybe we can get away with that. Post-exercise, this is where we want this strategic glucose spike. It's beneficial for recovery. So a little bit higher glycemic index, carbohydrates and protein to capitalize on heightened insulin sensitivity to starved muscles. So again, we need a holistic approach. We have to have good hydration, good sleep, daily movement, stress management, of course, and the age-proofing toolkit. When you use continuous glucose monitoring the right way, it gives you real-time feedback on how your unique metabolism responds to different foods, exercise types, and stress levels, right? This technology transforms abstract nutritional advice into personalized, actionable data for optimizing both performance and longevity, if you do it right. And we're going to point that out in the rest of this series. For masters athletes, CGMs aren't about managing disease. They're tools for extending health span and your athletic career. The goal of glucose management for older adults differs from younger patients, focusing on preventing hypoglycemia and minimizing complications.